Woohoo! We are live. We are live. We are live. Welcome to Everyday English with English Outside the Box. If you don't know me,
We are live. We are live.
amateur mistake. Amateur mistake. I'm glad we're doing this first run through, which is the first try for this live lesson. So, as I said, I'm Jennifer Nascimento, and if you don't know who I am, then it's great to meet you. I'm an English teacher. I'm the founder and English teacher at English Outside the Box. And my focus, my goal, my passion is to connect English learners from around the world with real language learning opportunities and practice with everyday English. And everyday English is English that you, a learner, can use. You can use this if you are traveling abroad. You can use this if you are living abroad in an English-speaking country. You can use this English if you want to work in an international company or with English partners or business in the business world. And movies, music, TV, interviews, documentaries. There's so much English that you can connect to. So that's what I do. That's what I try to connect you with everyday English. So we have a chat box going on. I'm just going to check to make sure everything's good. So we have a chat box on the right-hand side of this live YouTube video. Why am I going live? So if you have been following English Outside the Box, you know that every week, every Tuesday, I post new video lessons and blog English lessons for you to review. Well, that's still going to happen. You're still going to get Tuesday videos. However, you are first going to have access to them live. So welcome to next Tuesday's blog post. I'm going live because I want to give you the opportunity to ask questions. I want to give you the opportunity to connect with the language that I'm teaching. So on every blog post, I give a practice makes perfect activity section for you to review the language that we're learning. I'm still going to have that on the blog. I'm still going to give you an opportunity to practice what we're learning today. But today, right now, in this lesson, you can ask live questions. So that's what the chat box is for. You guys can also say hello, say good morning, say where you're from, and of course, you can ask questions about what I'm teaching. So that's a little bit of what's going on with these live lessons. So these live lessons are going to be anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. It really depends on the questions. I want to keep them short enough that they're easy to watch later, but long enough to give you a lot of valuable information. Today, we're going to be talking about phrasal verbs. But first, like with every live lesson, we're going to start off with an idiom of the day. The idiom of the day, okay? So I'm going to say what the idiom is out loud. And you guys, you people watching, I say guys, but I know there's women as well. We have Anna, hello. I know we have Victoria. We have handsome Ifran from Pakistan. Hesham Hussein. We're listening. It's good here. I know Dora's here. We have Said here. We have Malaysia. We have a lot of languages and countries represented. So everyone watching, Cosette, hi. Everyone watching, I want you to grab a piece of paper. I want you to grab a pen. I want you to take notes on what you're learning today. If you're watching this lesson later, I want you to grab a pen. I want you to grab a piece of paper, and I want you to write down the things that you are hearing me say, okay? And we're going to start with the idiom of the day. So I'm going to say the idiom of the day. I'm going to repeat it a couple of times for you to write it down. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what that idiom means, okay? So are you ready? After you write it down, perhaps you can write what you hear in the chat box. Your idiom of the day is to bite off more than you can chew. To bite off more than you can chew. I'm going to say it one more time. Your idiom of the day is to bite off more than you can chew. What did I say? And what does that idiom mean? I know there's a delay in the video, but I want to give you some time to try and write down what you hear. I'll say it one more time. To bite off more than you can chew. Okay. So does anybody watching write that down? Handsome Ifron, it's difficult. It's challenging. I want to give you a challenge. I can't make it too easy because I want you to learn. I want you to get it. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you so you're able to see what it is that I said. Okay, we have this right here. Whoop. To bite off more than you can chew. To bite off more than you can chew. Saying it really quickly, bite off more than you can chew. Bite off more than you can chew. Bite off more than you can chew, okay? That's a tough one, right? That one's really, really tough. To F more than you can chew. To buy off more than you could chew. Excellent. Good try, Anna. Good try, Dora. Victoria, excellent. Oh, Dora, you got it. To bite more than you can chew. So it's to bite off more than you can chew. Now, Anna, you heard to buy off more than you can chew. Probably because this American T right here, this American T is not really pronounced. We don't say bite off more. We say bite off more. Bite off more. Bite and off connect together, and that T changes its sound. Because that T changes its sound, you probably didn't hear the T and didn't recognize it. Bite off more than you could chew. Excellent. So bite off more than you can chew. What does that mean? We have our meaning right here. Dun, 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 dun. The meaning is to take on tasks or to agree to do things. To agree to do things that are too much. They're too big. It's more than you can do. So when you bite off more than you can chew, that means you agree to do too much, and you cannot do it all. And you cannot do it all because it's too much. The tasks are too big, there are too many things to do, and it's just possibly physically more than you can handle. So has anybody ever heard this idiom before? Like, let's chew some fat. Well, we have bite off more than you could chew. Has anyone ever heard this before? And next question, can anybody try to use it in a sentence? I really want you guys to focus on learning what I'm reviewing today and memorizing it and being able to use it. I want you to be able to use it because that's exactly why you're learning English. You don't want to learn English, take all this time to study, and then forget everything. What's the point? So I want you to remember this idiom and remember what it means. So the very first step after you learn a new word or a new idiom or a new phrasal verb is to, of course, review the definition. When you finish learning a new word and reviewing the definition, you need to immediately use it in a sentence. Write it in a sentence so you can practice immediately using it in your own language, your own English language use. The next thing I have you do, the next thing I recommend doing is writing it in a discussion question. If you're able to write it in a discussion question, then you guarantee you're going to use it in a conversation. So let's review some of those things here together. So I have a sentence for you here. I bit off more than I could chew last week when I told my friend I'd help her plan her party while I had a final project due at school and my full-time job. That's a long sentence, but I really wanted you to be able to see everything in context. So I bit off more than I could chew last week when I told my friend, I'd help her plan her party while I had a final project due at school and my full-time job. Notice that the verbs bite and can, the modal can, is going to change. In this case, I said I bit off more than I could because it's the past tense. So how is everybody doing here? I'm going to check the chat for a minute. We have English learning is bite off more than I can chew. So Ibran, absolutely fabulous job trying to use this. I'm going to correct this sentence here. Learning English, or let's change it to, I bit off more than I could chew when I started learning English. Or, to learn English is biting off more than I can chew. Because that my manager asked me to do the work of the absent stuff, but I think I'm going to bite more than I can chew. Let's try to make that a little more natural. My manager asked me to do the work of the absent people, maybe the people who are absent, but I think I'm going to bite off more than I can chew. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I took a lot of work and now I am really regretting it, Ruslan. I am really regretting it. I bit off more than I can chew. So Ruslan, you are almost correct. You want to change regret about it to I am really regretting it. Dami, hi, please. I need some people from out. Okay, conversation. So Hesham Hussein, I know you can bite off more than you can chew because you're a hero. Nice. Handsome and friend, I got it good. Kumiko, if you bite off more than you can chew, you will be exhausted. Yes. Anna, you don't need to bite. B-I-T-E is the present tense here, the base verb. You don't need to bite off more than you can chew if you are very busy. Absolutely. You don't want to bite off more than you could chew if you are very busy. Absolutely great job, everybody watching. Absolutely great job reviewing this information. So that is what our idiom of the day is, bite off more than you could chew. Here I gave an example of a discussion question. When's the last time you bit off more than you could chew? Again, when's the last time you bit off more than you could chew? This is going to be a discussion question that I want you to use today to practice. I want you to practice writing down your answer. I want you to practice saying your answer out loud with a friend, a colleague, or a conversation partner. And I want you to use this idiom of the day today. So that's your first challenge, is you are going to use this idiom today in a conversation using this question. When's the last time you bit off more than you could chew? Okay. Thank you, Reslan. I did notes on the paper. Alini, good. I'm so happy you did these notes. You took notes on the paper. I'm going to stop screen sharing for a minute and come back here. So that's your idiom of the day. So you have new vocabulary that you are already learning and you're already able to use with your own practice sentences and this discussion question. You can always join English Outside the Box's Facebook group. You just search for English Outside the Box and look for the private group or the closed group. Join that group and let's practice using that idiom today. In that group, you can also connect with other people who want to practice. So if you need a conversation partner, go to the group after this lesson and join and find your conversation partner today, all right? But I told you we were going to talk a little bit about phrasal verbs. So what are phrasal verbs? As you know, they're so common in English. Phrasal verbs are so common in English. We use them all the time. And in fact, as I have learned other languages, I speak Portuguese, I studied Spanish, I personally always found that when I was thinking in English, which I know I shouldn't do when speaking another language, but when I was thinking in English, I would get stuck on these phrasal verbs because they don't exist in other languages. They don't exist like they do in English. So that just shows you how important they are. Now, a common mix-up, a common confusion with phrasal verbs is that a phrasal verb is a verb and a preposition. No, okay? So a phrasal verb is not a verb and a preposition. It looks like a verb and a preposition, but let me explain. A phrasal verb is actually a verb, a main verb, and a particle. This particle can look like that preposition or look like an adverb, but it's not, because those prepositions, those adverbs, give literal, give exact meaning. Those prepositions, those adverbs are giving more information to the verb and giving the meaning a little more clear, a little more clarity. Okay? A phrasal verb is a verb plus a particle. That particle changes the meaning of that main verb. So often that main verb doesn't even have the same meaning as it does standing alone, as it does as an alone singular verb. So does that make sense? We have some more examples in the chat, which is great. Yesterday when I was playing cricket, handsome my friend, yesterday when I was playing cricket with my friends, I bit off more than I could chew, okay? So you have to pay attention to your tenses. Yesterday means you need to use the past, and you need to use the past in the idiom as well, okay? So let's review that quickly about phrasal verbs. A phrasal verb is a main verb and a particle. The particle looks like a preposition or an adverb, but it changes the meaning. So we are going to learn a few phrasal verbs today. We're going to learn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to be exact. We're going to learn 5 phrasal verbs, and we are learning phrasal verbs related to love and dating because it's February, which is Valentine's Day month, the month of love. So we're going to learn a couple of phrasal verbs that we can relate to love and dating. Okay, so remember, and I'll give you an example. I'll give you some more explanation of the phrasal verb versus a particle versus a preposition, okay? So let's get into it. You're going to do more listening, more dictation practice before I show you the phrasal verbs on the screen. Grab your pen, grab your paper, and I want you to write down what I say, all right? Your very first phrasal verb of this live lesson is to fall for someone. To fall for someone. Okay? Number 1, to fall for someone. I want you to write down what you hear. Number 2, to hit it off. To hit it off. Number 2 is to hit it off. Okay, how are you doing? Number 3, nice. Nice. Ah, my birthday month. Good job. Okay, I'm going to check your sentences in a minute, but we're going to move on to number 3. The third idiom, phrasal verb, sorry, the third phrasal verb today is to hit on someone. To hit on someone. Number 3, to hit on someone. Number 4, we have to ask someone out. To ask someone out. Number 4, to ask someone out. Nicely done. And the final phrasal verb today, phrasal verb number 5 is settle down. Settle down. Number 5, settle down. Let's check the chat here. We have a great explanation. You're so welcome. To fall for someone. Yes, to fall for someone was the very first one. Next, number 2, to hit it off. Yes, good job. Number 3 was to hit on someone. Great job in the chat, everybody. Great job to hit on someone. The 4th one, we had to ask someone out. Fabulous job in the chat, everybody. Connie, I think you were the last one to write, the first one to write the last one. Settle down. Nice. I tip my hat to you guys. That was amazing. Was it too easy, maybe? Some of those had some difficult pronunciation, like settle down, hit it off. So I'm going to just give you a great job for that. So what do these phrasal verbs mean? I'm going to pop up the definitions here. I'm going to read them for you, and I'm going to allow you to see what some of these definitions mean as we review a little more of the meaning, okay? So let's get our phrasal verb lesson notes going. So here we are. We have phrasal verbs related to love and dating. Here you're going to see everything that we just talked about. To fall for someone, to hit it off, to hit on someone, to ask someone out, to settle down. Some of these may be new. Some of these may not be new. So let's review them, shall we? To fall for someone means that you begin to like someone strongly in a romantic way. You might have heard something similar to fall head over heels, to fall in love. So to fall for someone means to begin to like someone strongly in a romantic way. So, to be head over heels, Luis Antonio Suarez. Yes. So very similar expression. I'm going to use it in an example sentence. This is for your listening practice because it's not written down on the screen. Remember, you are supposed to write down your own sentence examples when we're finished today to practice. So to fall for someone, I fell for my husband the first time I saw him at work. I fell for my husband the first time I saw him at work. Handsome in front, I take screenshots, so no need to write down. That is cheating. That's cheating. You have to write down. If you write down, you are committing it to your memory even more. If you write down what you're listening to, you are seeing the information, you're hearing the information, you're writing down the information, so then you're reading it back. You're giving yourself so much more practice if you actually write it down, I promise. Okay? So to fall for someone was my example. Louise, check your spelling. I feel for my wife. It needs to be fell if it's the past tense. F-E-L-L. I fell for my wife at first sight. Excellent. How romantic this month of love, right? Next, we have to hit it off. To hit it off means to get along really well together, to have a positive relationship. When you hit it off with someone, you have a great start to a very positive, strong relationship. This can be romantically, or this can just be friendly. For example, my best friend and I hit it off the first time we met. My best friend and I hit it off the first time we met. My best friend and I are not romantic, we're friendly. So you can see how you can use this for a friend or friendly relationship. Or we can use it romantically. Mike and Laura hit it off on their first date and got married 2 months later. All right, so hit it off. Good. I'll check your sentences in the chat in a minute. We have some coming in for fall for. I fell for my wife at first sight. Sarah fell for her roommate last year. Excellent. So we're going to move on to phrasal verb number 3, to hit on somebody. To hit on somebody means to talk to someone in a particular way, usually with compliments, to try and start a romantic relationship. So when you hit on somebody, you often compliment them, you say nice things about them, you might even say some famous pickup lines because you want someone to be romantically interested in you. So an example with this phrasal verb number 3, to hit on someone, could be that last night at the club, Mike hit on 20 women. Last night at the club, Mike hit on 20 women. Hit on, of course, means to talk to them in a romantic way. He was trying to start a romantic relationship with them. So how are these two phrasal verbs, hit it off and hit on someone? How are these phrasal verbs for everybody watching in the chat? Are they okay? How are they going? Yes, Hisham Hussein. Your name's kind of like a tongue twister for me. Hisham Hussein asked if the past is also hit. Yes, hit is an irregular verb, so we have hit, hit, hit. This is why I love this live lesson, because you are able to learn so much more than just the phrasal verbs I'm teaching. Great. Let's move on to number 4 with a sentence example and the meaning. So to ask someone out is on a date. On a date is implied. So I have it in brackets, those square brackets, because you don't need to have it. If you leave it out, the sentence is still understood because on a date is implied. To ask someone out on a date means to ask someone to go somewhere romantically with you. Oh my gosh, I forgot about crack up because it was here. Whoops. Okay, we actually have 6 phrasal verbs today. My bad. But back to here. To ask someone out. To ask someone to go somewhere romantically with you. So that's maybe to dinner. Maybe you're asking someone to go to a movie. Maybe you're asking to go to a concert or some kind of event. So to ask someone out means to ask someone to go somewhere romantically with you. For example, Mike asked Susan on a date and they went to a fancy dinner. Mike asked Susan on a date and they went to a fancy dinner. Got it. Okay, coming back to the chat here, we have some examples with the past phrasal verbs. My friend said he is into Rana. I then said, go hit it off. Yeah, you could say that. Go hit it off. Go start your relationship well. Podgornowski, my friend tried to hit on me, but I already had a boyfriend at that time. Yeah. You can say it's just Hisham. Okay, good, Hisham. Connie, I feel very uncomfortable when somebody hits on me. Somebody is a singular subject, so it needs to be hits. Somebody hits on me. Great example. Last night at the club, Mike hit on 20 women. Dora, that's exactly what I said. In the American movies or dramas, Kumiko, we don't need the article the in front of American. In American movies or dramas, the handsome actors often hit on the beautiful actresses. Yes. Anna, I've never fallen for someone at the first time. You want to say at first sight. I've never fallen for someone at first sight. Hisham, don't try to hit on Connie because she will never agree about that. Just kidding. Ha ha ha. My colleague asked me out to have dinner. Nice. I'm too shy. I cannot hit on any girl even though they're staring at me. Louise, great example. So we're going to go on to this next one, the one that I accidentally missed. Crack up. To crack up means to laugh a lot, usually uncontrollably, to crack up. So, oh my gosh, Mike is so funny. He was telling me jokes and I was cracking up. Mike is so funny. He was telling jokes and I was cracking up. Okay? To crack up means to laugh a lot, usually uncontrollably. And finally, our last phrasal verb of the day, to settle down. To settle down means to begin to live in a quiet and steady life, usually with someone. This is when you become exclusive. You become an exclusive boyfriend and girlfriend, or a couple, a partnership. This is when you will live together. It's when you get married. Okay? So my husband and I settled down after dating for 2 years. My husband and I settled down after dating for 2 years. That means that we moved in together, we got married, we were exclusive, etc., etc. All right. So I asked last night to my friend Mohammed for prayer. I no, handsome, my friend, that one isn't. You didn't really use ask someone out, so you didn't actually use the phrasal verb in that one. Kareen, John always cracks me up. Yes. Good. Okay. We're going to stop sharing this screen here for a minute, and we're going to come back to me. So we're going to wrap it up. This is already 30 minutes. It's already so long. I wanted to give an introduction of how YouTube Lives were going to be. I wanted to see how much information we could get in this amount of time while still answering your questions and talking in the chat. So coming back, we have two more examples. Louise says, after a long time painting the town red, I decided to settle down and get engaged. Awesome. You used a couple idioms, an idiom in there too, to paint the town red. Nice. Because when my boyfriend said a funny joke, I cracked up. Good. So remember this morning, earlier in the lesson, I told you what a phrasal verb was. A phrasal verb was a verb and a particle. A verb and a particle. We can use the example of hit it off. Okay? Remember, the phrasal verb hit it off is a phrasal verb. Off is a particle because off is changing the meaning of hit. As a phrasal verb, to hit it off means to, as you learned, to get along really well, to have a positive relationship, all of that. So hit it off as a phrasal verb means to have a healthy relationship. However, the main verb hit can be hit, or, knock something with your hand or any other body part. And off is going to be in a direction, off the table, for example. So if I have this Post-it right here on, my hand, let's imagine this was on a table, I can say, I hit it off. I hit it, the Post-it, off my hand. I hit it off my hand. Okay? That is an example of a verb and the preposition, right? Hit it off. You have the off giving information about that main verb hit, saying, in the direction that it's going. Okay? So that is an example of how a phrasal verb plus particle, is different than a verb plus preposition or a verb plus adverb, okay? I hope that makes sense. I hope that's clear. So we're going to wrap it up soon. We're going to wrap it up now. I'm just going to come back to the final chat here, review some of these sample sentences, and see if there are any more questions. So do you have any questions about what we've learned today? Perhaps it is a question that somebody watching later may have that you can help them out with. Are there any final questions in this lesson before we wrap it up and we say goodbye? Let me know in the chat, and I'm just going to read some of these comments and example sentences. Hisham said, I was just to ask her out, but everything disappeared. I was just about to ask her out, but then everything disappeared, maybe. I was just about to ask her out, but then everything disappeared. Dora, I cracked up just now and I accidentally sent a comment with messed up letters. Hisham, it was a very great half an hour. I learned a lot. Thank you. I'm so happy to hear that. Cosette, my boyfriend, and I are settling down after we announced our engagement. Woo! Nicely done. Congratulations, Cosette. It's clear. Wrap it up is with a W. W-R-A-P. To wrap it up means to finish. Yep, we have another one here. You're second to none. Awesome. Louise, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Tats, why do you say help out and not just help? To help someone out, to help someone, it's just another expression. There are, in English, in any language, you know, there's a lot of ways to say different things. That's just a variation. You can help someone or you can help someone out. And it's really the same exact thing. 2 extra phrasal verbs for you. Wrap it up and help out. Everyone, thank you so much for joining this live lesson, this first live lesson. It has been really great, and it's been great to have you here learning with me. I want to remind you that we are in the middle of a great week because it is grammar week. It is grammar week. So everyone watching live right now, you can join me tomorrow on YouTube Live again with Adriana from English with Adriana and a grammar review. So if you have not joined our grammar review yet, it's not too late. You can still join now. You guys can join by going to bit.ly/bettergrammar. You can sign up and instantly get a grammar quiz to check your understanding of some of the most common mistakes. Additionally, you can sign up for our live lesson that is tomorrow, okay? So tomorrow, Adriana and I are going to be live teaching you everything, almost everything you need to know about grammar, as much as we can do in our live lesson. So if you have not joined, then join that. And finally, on Saturday, this Saturday, at the same time, at the same place, this YouTube channel, on Saturday, I'm teaching another live lesson. The live lesson is going to be how to speak English like a native. You don't want to miss it. This one's going to be really exciting. Saturday's live lesson, Everyday English with English Outside the Box. Your live lesson is going to be here. Same time, same place. Come on Saturday and learn how to speak like a native speaker with me, okay? Thanks, everybody, so much. I'm Jennifer Nascimento again, English Outside the Box. You can sign up for weekly resources and learning materials by going to my website or going to englishoutsidethebox.com/sign up. All the links for everything you need to learn English is going to be in the description below this video or on the blog. So thanks for learning again with me, everybody. And I will see you soon. Bye. Happy studying. I hate goodbyes. Bye.